So this week I want to talk about something that concerns us all, and that is mental health. And in the last month, the last few weeks, there's been a lot of farmers around me that have kind of opened up about some of their issues that they're kind of dealing with now, anxiety problems. Obviously, a lot of growers right now are pretty exhausted in their fields. It's been a long seasons for many, and I think that COVID, all of the effects are kind of kicking in. And we've had different personalities here in our Quebec community come out with, by saying that they've been facing with, deep anxiety problems and mental problems. And kind of the word is that we need to talk more about that, about the fact that it's a reality and that it's something that needs to be said, addressed, and better understood. And, obviously I'm not a psychologist, or I'm not trained to talk about mental issues and give advice, and that's not going to be the purpose of this video today. But, I can really relate because I myself have had, pretty stressful times, and I've had issues. I've had mental problems, I don't know how you say it, but issues with my mental health. And yeah, I think that it's important to acknowledge them and to talk about them. And I'm not going to lay out my whole life story on YouTube, and I think no one really should. These are personal things, but if there's a few things that I can share or at least point out to others, is that there's signals that this is happening. You break a finger, you break a leg, you have problems with your lungs. There's a symptom. It's really clear that there's a medical issue, and there's a clear prescription about how to heal. If you break your arm, okay, it's going to be in a cast for 4 months, and that's it. And then you're going to be inactive for all these months, and that's just because your arm is healing. When we're dealing with anxiety or other, depression or flat out, other mental issues, it's not clear and it's not obvious what the remedies are. But, for me, where I was at, it was really simple. I was dealing with the fact that I was creating for myself pressure to be somebody that would deliver. May it be when I started FQT Farm, there was a lot of pressure there to kind of come up with something that would be amazing, keep it together. There's a lot of things that were moving with my family and me being there, and it was just, and then I was still touring and giving lectures pretty much all over the world, and every time I do that, it comes highly marketed, and then I travel, and then people are expecting something out of me, and I just wanted to help and deliver as much as I could all the time. And then there was the family, and it was just at one point, the traveling, the pressure of delivering all the time, it just got to me, and I got to be really sick, and I would do these trips, and I would travel, and I would be like at 40% stamina, and I would just keep on doing it because I'm an achiever, and I wanted to, I had high hopes, and I wanted to get my mission done. And at one point I just couldn't function anymore, and it got to be too much for me. And the feeling that I can remember, and that's my message today, is that I wish I would have talked to people before that, or even a bit after it. I was kind of holding all these things together, and I was really focused on that, and just at one point, just like the pressure and everything that it meant to keep all of these balls, to juggle all these balls, I just couldn't do it anymore, and I dropped a few balls, and my body couldn't handle it anymore. My mind was still go, but my body was, I was sick. And that's, there was a few events that, again, I don't want to share. These are private, but just, I think COVID for me was such a great thing because it stopped all of my travels and it gave me time to rest and really heal. And anyway, I think that when I listen to others around me, there's a lot of similarities. You know, perhaps these farmers are not touring and teaching master classes or doing stuff like that, but it doesn't matter really. It's the expectations that we're setting for ourselves. And, you know, a lot of the things are sometimes when we see others, when we see Instagram, when we see, okay, perhaps when we see JM on YouTube and we're like, okay, my farm's not like his. And then there's all this vicious cycle of just kind of comparing ourselves to others and setting expectations for ourselves that might be too high or not realistic or not who we are. And that can be really tricky. And so, you know, when I listen to these stories, I feel very empathetic, and I think there's a lot of us out there that are struggling and that are not talking about it, that are not sharing the fact that it's boiling inside and then it's just too much pressure. So if that's something that you've felt or that you're feeling right now, again, I'm not going to give you advice. It's totally not my area of expertise, but you know, if this can relate to you, I think from what I experienced myself and from what I understand from hearing from others, it's really important to at least talk to someone about it. Perhaps not your wife, and perhaps not a close friend, perhaps somebody that's kind of perhaps trained for that, to just say, hey, you know, I'm feeling a lot of pressure and it's boiling inside and it's intense and I'm having a hard time doing what I need to do. And you know, there's so much stuff out there about overachieving and, you know, morning glory and getting up in the morning at 4 before everybody else and getting things done. And you know, I think we all need to acknowledge the fact that the bottom line is that we're all very vulnerable and we're all fragile in a way. You know, we all need to take care of one another, and we need to, most importantly, take care of ourselves. You know, you can't be a great papa if you're not feeling well yourself. You can't be an amazing market gardener if you're not taking good care of yourself. And you know, you can't be the friend that you can be to others if you're not being a friend to yourself. And so I kind of practice a little bit of this so that I wouldn't cry, because I don't want to cry about that. My issues are better. I feel much better. COVID was such a great thing for me, and not traveling as much and not having to live to the hype. For me, that was all in my head, and I just kind of cleaned that out. And yeah, I think I'm inviting everyone to reach out if you're feeling that it's getting to be too much, that the pressure of farming, of market gardening is getting to you. You know, talk to a friend or talk to someone. And I think it's really okay to step back and to say, okay, I need a break. And if that's what you need, remember the cast analogy. It's like if your arm is broken, there's no need to kind of keep working with it. It's going to grow crooked and it's never going to heal. You need to take the time to heal. And it's never about being weak. It's just about being real. And it's about being real. So I don't know if some of this is interesting or helps or makes sense to any of you guys listening, but for me it's just something that I wanted to share. And yeah, we all go. Life is a long journey and there's going to be different steps. For me, I've had a lot of highs. I've had a lot of super good achievements, but I've had some downs, and some of them have been really painful. And from what I understand, I'm totally not the only one out there. And so we're all human, and we really, really need to take good care of one another and good care of ourselves. So I think that's my message. And chopping wood for me has been such a great way to just disconnect and reconnect with nature. And nature is such a great way to connect with who we are and who we ought to be. Nature is never wrong. Nature is perfect. Nature is the temple where, if you can, we all have access to some nature. Take time to go in nature if that can help. I said I wouldn't give advice, but that would be one piece of advice. So, that's it. So that's it for this week. I hope you liked the episode. We're calling this channel Digging Deeper because the goal is to talk about what's real and what's going on in my world, but also in the farming community as a whole. And this week's episode really was that. If you liked it, subscribe to the channel. It gives us the signal that you guys are into it and that we should keep on producing these. If you want to learn more about my farming practice, check out the work that we do at the Market Gardeners Masterclass and join the community of growers from all over the world. It's really, really cool stuff. Growers Magazine edition number 3, Growers & Co., is coming out next month. Make sure to check that out. It's a bomb. You guys will love it. It's amazing. Really into it. I hope you're well. I hope your spirit is good, and I hope your heart is good. I'm good. I'm wishing you all the best. JM out. Till next week, friends. Farm on.